So the people God sent, they mark his purity. He said if a man purges himself, he said then he will qualify to be used of the master. So it's your purity that tells whether God sent you. And when we get to heaven, you'll be shocked that many global ministries were not sent. They only had gifts, and because they had gifts, people gathered around them. But when they come to heaven, they won't know them. Pay the price to be holy. Don't compromise because everybody is compromising. Like Joseph, stand your ground. If you need to run from Potiphar's wife, run. What you are doing is that you are preserving your garment. A day will come, God will send you to Pharaoh's court. Because Joseph was gifted for 30 years, he was not sent. If you compromise and you are genuine, you will stop preaching and go until you are purged. So if you know how God works, when you fall, you will leave the altar and say, sorry, take over, let me help my soul. You will be purged. And if you fall 3 times, then return. Go back to discipleship. Everybody must study if we will know God. If you move from that level, then you come to the level of purity as the second consecration level of knowing God. The Bible said in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 19, it said the standard of the Lord standeth sure. It said therefore the Lord knoweth them that are his. It said anyone that nameth the name of the Lord must depart from iniquity. If you don't depart from iniquity, there's no way you can walk with God. In 2 Corinthians 6:17, he said come out from among them, touch not the unclean thing. He said they that bear the vessels of God, they must be pure. So if you want to know God, you have to keep walking in purity, because there are realms you will enter, your gift will not be enough. You know, Isaiah was a prophet until he had to come to know God in the throne room. And he said in the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord. He was operating by gift. He was hearing the voice of God. He thought he knew God. He said, I saw the Lord. There are many people in the world today who are using gifts. They can pray for the sick is healed. They can give prophetic word. It doesn't mean they know God. If you know God, it will show by your level of purity. Because anyone who stands in the courts of Abba must be holy. You must be pure. You can't go there. He said, thou, O Lord, art of a purer eyes. He said, your eyes cannot behold iniquity. That's why among men, we may celebrate gifted people, but in the spirit, they don't care about your gift. When you come, they are looking at your garment. Is it pure? If your garment is not pure, you can't stand in the courts of God. And a national prophet appeared in the throne room and he saw glory. Immediately, nobody asked him. He started confessing. Because you know, there you don't give word of knowledge. Everybody knows everything there. So it's not a place to come and say, I saw this. No, nobody will be moved. Everybody has understanding there. So when you come there, it's your purity that they rank you with. And without questioning the prophet, he say, I'm a man of unclean lips. Forgive me, I'm a sinner. I'm in the wrong place. How can a national prophet not be able to stand? Because he doesn't know that knowing God has something to do with purity. I'm a man of unclean lips. I come from a people of unclean lips. Please, we don't qualify. Have mercy. And one of the seraphims. You know, when you go there, it's the business of purity. You hear angels singing, holy, holy, holy is the Lord. Holy, holy. That's what they are doing forever and ever. It's a business of purity. Holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord. And he said one of the seraphims took one of the stones from the coast, the middle of the coast, and touched his tongue and said, now your iniquity has been purged. And the national prophet was in that meeting and God was asking, he said, who shall we send? That means you can be gifted but you are not sent. Most of this thing we are doing here, calling ministry, that you are gathering people does not mean God know you. Because if you have a gift, God does not need to send you. If I stay and I start praying for the sick and they start being healed, people will come because people need healing. If I'm here and I start giving prophetic word, people will come because people need direction. But God knows the ones he sent. He said the standard of the Lord standeth sure. The Lord knows them that are his. So the people God sent, they mark his purity. He said if a man purges himself, he said then he will qualify to be used of the master. So it's your purity that tells whether God sent you. And when we get to heaven, you'll be shocked that many global ministries were not sent. They only had gifts. And because they have gifts, people gathered around them. But when they come to heaven, they won't know them. He said, who shall we send? The prophet was not even bold to say, I'm here. Because what he saw here, he discovered that qualification, he may need some time to learn the way of purity. So if you want to know God, your garment must be pure. Pay the price to be holy. Don't compromise because everybody is compromising. Like Joseph, stand your ground. If you need to run from Potiphar's wife, run. What you are doing is that you are preserving your garment. A day will come, God will send you to Pharaoh's court. Because Joseph was gifted for 30 years, he was not sent. It is God that will send you after you have passed the test of purity. I'm telling you, most people who are doing ministry today, they are agents of the devil. I'm telling you, 2,000, 3,000 people are gathering. Go and check. They have disvirgin 30 people. And those 30 people have wrecked 1,000 family. So what is happening there is the devil. There's a stage. They are calling the name of God, but it's a stage for the devil. Most leaders who came there, they took money from them, and now they say God does not exist. And the reason many people say God does not exist is because they met fake people, fake apostles, fake prophets, fake pastors, who didn't show them Jesus but stole from them. And because they stole from them, their hearts became hardened. You think such a person is God who sent him there? You must sustain purity to be God's servant. And if you will know God, you must build purity into your life. If you compromise and you are genuine, you will stop preaching and go until you are purged. Because God is not interested in the activity. He's interested in who is doing it. If your garment is not pure, forget that thing you call preaching. It's not a message. In fact, when you are preaching, it's a risk. Because when you are emitting energy, that energy of seduction, you are putting it in people. That's why, because you are committing immorality, 90% of your pastors too are in immorality. And 90% of the church members are in immorality. Because you are talking Bible, but you are emitting seduction. And so, if you know how God works, when you fall, you will leave the altar and say, sorry, take over. Let me help my soul. You will be purged. And if you fall 3 times, then return. Go back to discipleship. Because they need to check whether you... I told you in the morning, imagine you are reading Romans. And you are in Romans chapter 2. They say Paul fornicated. You now come to Romans chapter 4. They say Paul went back to the mountain again to confess because he fornicated. And then you come to Romans chapter 10. They say, Paul, he saw a woman and he couldn't hold himself. He fornicated again. By the time you are reaching Romans 15, you say, wait, this is not Bible. Drop it. Is that what you read? Even David that fell once. After he repented, he didn't fall again. Oh God, what is your problem? In January you are falling. In March you are falling. In November you are falling. Before the next January you are with somebody's wife. Are you sent to the territory? And then we come with demonic doctrine, telling people it doesn't matter what you are doing, you are forgiven. It's a lie. The Bible says the heir, so long as it's a child, is not different from a servant. Nobody sends children. And who is a child? A child is one who lives in sin and is always asking for forgiveness. So many apostles and prophets are children. Forget the gift. They are children. I'm telling you, they are children.